This is the Ag Queen Podcast. This podcast explores the agriculture industry with the movers and shakers of those shaping it. Here's your host, Lori Boyer.
Today's show is being brought to you by Grasshopper Mowers. Nothing gets in the way of #Mow Day. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show here today. I want to thank my guest for joining me, Jess McClure. He is the chairman of the Agricultural Safety and Health Council of America. We'll talk more about this organization and an upcoming safety summit, as well as some of its members in just a few moments. But Jess, let's get started. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background.
Sure. Well, Laura, I appreciate the invitation. It's great to be here. So I serve my full-time job. I am the Vice President of Safety and Regulatory Affairs for the National Grain and Feed Association. So we're a national trade group with over 1,000 member companies that just celebrated its 126th or 125th, I should say, anniversary. We had our 126th annual convention in Charleston this week. But we represent that part of the industry, grain feed processing. And so I've been in my position as the VP of Safety and Regulatory Affairs for the past 15 years. Before I came on board here at the NGFA, I worked with the Occupational Safety and Health Administration for several years. So having that background working for the regulatory agency that handles the safety and health related issues, when I came on board at NGFA, that's obviously a focus, safety and other regulatory agencies, including the EPA and Federal Grain Inspection Service and topics like that.
Okay, I appreciate that and getting to know you a little bit more and your background. Tell us a little bit more about the Agricultural Safety Health Council of America. What is this organization?
So ASHCA, as we call it, was founded in 2007, and the mission of the organization is to proactively address ongoing and emerging occupational safety and health issues affecting everyone engaged in all facets of U.S. agriculture. So the National Grain and Feed Association is a member of ASHCA, and I'm representing NGFA through ASHCA, and as a result, once I came on board, I became a member of the board and then was eventually elected to serve as chairman of the board. And ASHCA, primarily, it's a coalition of the farms, ranches, producer associations, and other groups such as NGFA, organizations, businesses, and even individuals all working together. The other item, too, I can't believe I forgot to mention, is educational institutions. So obviously, they're very important members of this group and working together as far as working on improving the health and safety for agricultural workers across the spectrum.
And just how do you do that exactly? Do you develop curriculum or what does the organization actually do as far as action items?
Well, I think the primary purpose of the organization, we do have educational training. We do have an annual summit that I can talk about in a little bit more, but what we're primarily doing is between the educational institutions and between the other representatives is trying to make sure that as far as research goes and practice within the industry. So basically working on the communication to make sure that those that are involved in research on safety and health research, that they're up to speed on what's being practiced within the industry and vice versa, that those within the industry are aware of the research that's out there. And so obviously we're trying to serve as a facilitator between each of those parties to help with the communication and the networking so that they can be, I would say, each have a better perspective of what the other is doing.
How many members does ASHCA have?
So we have over 80 members, and that's including in the individual organizations. So as I was talking about, we have, such as trade associations, individual companies, academic institutions. We also have agencies within the USDA, and also NIOSH are also the members of ASHCA as well. So we have all these different groups that are working together to exchange information. And then what we try to do through our educational programs is, for example, AgSharp is an educational training program that we have that we are basically providing overall safety and health management training. And what we try to do is specify it for specific groups, general agriculture, sometimes, and other facets such as livestock, dairy, those types of groups. So that's kind of what programs that we have to offer.
So you can personalize, or I don't know if personalize is the right word, but you can really hone in on one particular industry.
Specialize. Yep. We can
Specialize.
definitely, yes, we can definitely, and that's our goal, right? Our goal is to really, to the knowledge and expertise that we have with representatives that serve on our board across the spectrum of agriculture. I mean, from everything from, you have representatives that are, grain and oil seeds, kind of your bread, as I say, the bread basket crops. You have specialty crops. We also have a member of our board is also on the swine side. So you have such a variety of those involved in agriculture. And so the knowledge and expertise that they have, that's very helpful in developing these specific programs.
Is ASHCA also maybe a liaison between like government agencies and such? I think you mentioned OSHA in there. So anytime they have a new update or new things come out, then you relay that to your members?
Well, we're not really into the policy side. What we try to do is really focus on the research and education.
Oh, okay.
So when when OSHA will come out with a rule or a policy, what we try to do, being a not-for-profit organization, we try to stay out of those policy-related issues. We're more into, research that USDA or research universities can do to help expedite, improve safety practices.
Jess, could you give me maybe a recent example of that?
So, for example, our AgSharp training program, we did actually in August, and we did it in Nebraska, and we did it actually in conjunction with the Nebraska Cattle and Beef Association at their office just outside of Lincoln, Nebraska, and we put together a training program that focused specifically on livestock. So inviting representatives from the industry to attend and give an overall safety and health management background on standards within OSHA that would apply to their industry. And then we had representatives from the Ag Extension Center there at the University of Nebraska that focus on safety training that also delivered presentations. So that was kind of when we talk about a type of training. It was a 2-day training event. At the time, that's before everything was still opening back up, but we still had over 30 participants, which was a good showing back then in August, before everything really started to open up again.
I'm curious, for your trainings, the trainers themselves, do they have to be certified in anything, or do you contract out with people? How does that part work?
They're members of the organization. So we have members who serve, members that on our board that are actually still at the universities. We have representatives within our organization that works for, insurance company, and those that are with trade groups. So it's a variety of our members. There are those that, with their commitment to safety, serving within ASHCA, and then they're the ones that deliver this training.
ASHCA just recently celebrated their 15-year anniversary. I want to thank my guest for joining me here today, Jess McClure. He is the chairman of the Agricultural Safety and Health Council of America.
It doesn't matter whether you're on the backfield or the front yard. On mow day, perfection is a game of inches. It's a battle of fence line and fierce terrain. Out there, on that grasshopper mower, you don't let anything stop your stripes. Nothing stands in the way of a job well done. For more on mow day and grasshopper mowers, visit grasshoppermower.com.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Ag Queen Podcast with your host, Lori Boyer.